Half of us are to some degree scared of clowns. Clowning has a long and cross-cultural history, but there was something darker behind the laughter. Clowns broadened their appeal when they entered the realm of children's entertainment, but this innocent act fooled no one. John Wayne Gacy performed as a rather unsettling clown called Pogo. It seemed like the It miniseries practically scarred a whole age group. These days, media depictions of clowns are almost universally sinister. That brings us to the clown hysteria of 2016.
Clowns. Killer clowns.
Clown epidemic.
What's fact and what's fiction?
Weird. It's like a horror movie.
Standing there. I'm out, dude. That's... Nah, man, nah. Oh!
The sightings began in early August 2016. A Facebook account popped up and posted about a creepy clown walking the streets of Green Bay, Wisconsin at 2 a.m. holding black balloons. Things got freaky in Greenville, South Carolina. A young boy said he saw and heard clowns whispering in the woods next to the apartment building where he lived. His brother and mother claimed they too both heard and saw them knocking on their door with chains and roaming the woods with green lasers. Others in the apartment complex claimed they saw clowns. Various children claimed clowns tried to lure them into the woods with money, and that they thought the clowns lived in a pond-side house in the woods. Police and reporters checked it out and found nothing but a woman who had recently moved in. An adult said they saw a clown with a blinking nose under a streetlight. There was one report early on of men firing into the woods after hearing some rustling.
This all caught the attention of the sheriff's office. We captured one deputy on cell phone video patrolling the area.
At one apartment complex, kids allegedly chased two clowns through the complex before they got away in a Honda, where a third clown was waiting to act as getaway driver. Yet another notable sighting came from a woman in a neighboring county who claimed she saw a clown in her yard. She allegedly tried to snap a photo, but when she showed it to authorities, it was too dark to make out. Residents of the counties were freaked out, taking to social media and threatening to attack clowns they came across.
Whoever you are, clowns, whoever is out in our communities, get away. Here is one very mad, very angry mother that is not going to take it.
Authorities found no leads on the South Carolina clowns at all.
They were not able to substantiate these claims through any kind of evidence at that time, and as of now, have not.
We have had different descriptions. What we don't know is, one, whether we have one or two people who are doing this repetitively, or two, whether or not we have multiple individuals doing it either for fun, for gags, for kicks.
For long, though, the sightings spread across the South.
We don't even want our kids to come outside anymore. It started in South Carolina, and now it's up here. That's nerve-wracking.
Red hair and white makeup on. And we kept screaming out, like, who was that? And they wouldn't say nothing. They just stared at us and looking at us and all that. So it's kind of creepy.
One woman who was too afraid to go on camera says they have found candies and clown footprints in the woods.
Then up the East Coast and out west. In fact, the clowns reached the UK and even Australia.
What the actual is this shit?
Imagine you're just walking along, minding your own business, then all of a sudden a face like that jumps out to scare you. Well, for some, that's their worst nightmare.
That whole fall became a full-blown clowndemic.
I'm shaking, I'm so scared.
The Snapchat video of that creepy clown. It waved what looks like a knife before it scampered away.
By the time we got here, we turned around,
approach her
closing
with
the door.
two men here reportedly
See a girl in her home.
With the machete, that's where they kind of...
Freaking people out.
The media picked up the story early, and from there copycats gladly came out of the woodwork to complement the unverified rumors. Two teens in Virginia were arrested for chasing kids in clown masks. There was also the man in Kentucky who was arrested for wearing a clown mask in public and waiting behind an apartment complex to scare people. And a couple in Wisconsin charged with child neglect after they went out on the town with a friend to scare drivers, all while their 4-year-old was home alone.
634.
Online threats were another recurring category of clown activity.
Consulting intelligence sources have shared that they believe these threats are a form of swatting intended to create panic in the schools.
Florida Bama had the Flomo clown.
Disturbing images on a Facebook page belonging to someone calling themselves Flomo Clown.
This individual had sent some threatening messages with some emojis with guns and things of that nature.
who caused school lockdowns but turned out to be a pregnant woman and several other young adults. Towards the end of the scare, there was a threatened clown purge of certain cities. It was supposed to happen on
Halloween Eve.
But the threat was suspected and later confirmed to be non-credible. The mastermind behind the Facebook post? Surprise, just a teenage boy messing around. False reports of clown sightings were also made. Just weeks in, a man in North Carolina made one. In September, two 20-somethings in Georgia were arrested for filing false reports of a white van and clowns in their area. Police did find a white van, but there was nothing inside but an ordinary man. One of the two witnesses later confessed he had lied, but maintained he had in fact seen clowns the previous day. Some children in Maryland admitted their clown encounters were entirely fabricated.
It's been a topic of conversation, and one of them was fooling around and scared a couple of the younger ones.
Annapolis police became aware of this situation because teachers here at the elementary school overheard the children talking about the clowns, and by protocol, school officials contacted the police.
They call us, and I'm sure things snowballed pretty quickly.
We of course have no way of knowing how many reports were false, but it seems likely it was a not insignificant amount. Many reports were anonymous for one thing. There was also very often a lack of corroborating witnesses or evidence. Besides the pranksters and rumors, some more serious crimes and violent incidents were reported. When the craze struck Ohio, one woman claimed she was smoking on her porch in the early hours of the morning when a clown grabbed her by the neck and said, "I should just kill you now," as well as implied a threat of violence towards teachers and students at local schools. In Arizona, teens robbed restaurants in clown masks. A teen in Sweden was stabbed by a man in a clown mask after stepping outside for a smoke. Luckily, his injuries were only minor. A boy in the Detroit metro area was mildly cut after a clown held a butter knife up to his arm.
Are you making this up?
No.
You really saw a guy come after you with a clown outfit on tonight?
Yeah.
How scared were you?
I was like a lot scared.
What if he would have had a knife to his throat or something and he would have actually done more damage? He could have killed my kid.
Police have their hands full tonight.
2 miles away just after this, 2 women called 911 after 3 clowns lunged at them holding bats. In a nearby town, a BP, a Walgreens, a Domino's, and at least 3 hotels were robbed at gunpoint by a man in a clown mask, although he was finally caught about a week later. The only death I found documented involved a purge mask. A teen wearing the mask was killed in a fight with an older man in Pennsylvania, apparently the result of some neighborhood conflict. Incorrect initial reports said the killer wore the mask, and through the telephone game, the story became one of a clown who dragged a kid into the woods and murdered him. The rumors caused school closings in the area. The other most dramatic alleged incident occurred in Florida, when 20 teens in clown and purge masks attacked 2 men late one night. The 2 victims were driving with women and children when something hit their truck. They got out to check on their vehicle and passengers when a gang of young people in masks descended on them, stabbing one with a machete-like weapon and hitting the other in the head with a hockey stick. Both would require stitches. Luckily, one of the women jumped into the driver's seat and drove the kids to safety. One of the men was able to pull the mask off an assailant and said he recognized him as a kid from his neighborhood. The teens soon scattered, and as far as I know, weren't caught. Many times, though, everyday citizens and news stations ran with unverified accounts, or made a big deal over very little. Motorists in Virginia reported a menacing clown waving at them from a car. It turned out just to be a 12-year-old boy excited to show off his Halloween costume. But social media and even local news had already run with the story in the context of the scary clown epidemic. Penn State had its own clown hysteria when hundreds of students marched through campus looking for clowns after some rumored sightings. No clowns were found and no one was hurt, but they did get a few noise complaints.
No matter where you come from, no matter your color, your religion, your creed, no matter who you're voting for, we can all agree on one thing. Fuck the clowns! Fuck the clowns!
That same week at Michigan State, a photoshopped image of a clown on campus, meant by the poster to be a joke between her and her friends, led to MSU's own clown hunting mob of about 200 students. Just like at Penn State, the clown was nowhere to be found. Some decided to take drastic actions in response to all the reports. a little girl in Georgia was busted for bringing a knife to school to fend off clowns. Some parents decided to take the year off trick-or-treating. Others said they would be going armed. Some school districts erred on the side of caution, adding security and even banning clown masks and costumes for Halloween 2016. Some local governments and national store chains did the same, such as Target, who pulled clown costumes at both their stores and online.
McDonald's has changed its branding strategy and made Ronald a clown in hiding.
Saying in a statement, McDonald's and franchisees in the local markets are mindful of the current climate around clown sightings.
That's messed up, that really just, it's not right for McDonald's to take away Ronald. Ronald didn't do anything to anybody.
As far as I can tell, he has yet to make a comeback, although his friend Grimace recently celebrated his birthday with a new purple milkshake, in a not at all creepy social media promotion. Happy birthday, big guy. A reporter even asked Obama's White House press secretary if the administration had a plan for this clowndemic.
I don't know that the president's been briefed on this particular situation.
Ultimately, you wonder how many of the 2016 clowns were even real. We have no way of knowing for sure. Even some sightings shared online through social media posts and viral videos could easily have been staged. And remember that first sighting in Wisconsin? Turned out it was just a marketing stunt for a horror film called Gags the Clown. And this wasn't the first time in recent years performance art seemed to initiate clown scares. In 2013, there was the Northampton clown in England. He was revealed to be a quirky 22-year-old filmmaker. Nonetheless, it was followed by a wave of clown incidents that year, including in London. In 2014, there was the Wasco clown in California, which was found to be a photographer's hobby project.
Bakersfield police.
This was followed by reports of clowns armed with weapons in Bakersfield. The only clown that actually turned up was an unarmed teenager. This mini clowndemic also spread to Florida, Indiana, and New Mexico. When France had its own weird clown incidents, some towns banned clown costumes, just like some in the US would 2 years later. Skeptical researcher into weird phenomena Ben Radford, who had just recently written a book called Bad Clowns, told media outlets in 2016 that there were two main categories of the creepy clowns: copycat stalker clowns and phantom clowns. Phantom clowns were clowns whose existence was dubious and seemed more in line with the processes of folklore and mass hysteria. According to Radford, the 2016 craze was actually the latest manifestation of a larger phenomenon that went back to at least the 1980s. It seemed to start in the Boston area back in May 1981. Children claimed that menacing clowns were driving around in a black van, harassing them and attempting to lure them with candy, as well as cruising around a school zone. Police were unable to find anything to corroborate the reports. Not a single clown was apprehended. That spring and summer, the phenomenon spread down the East Coast and out west, and would from here on repeat in at least one city every few years. Outside of Boston, the van was various other colors, including white, a detail that would forever endure in phantom clown stories. The 1980s clown scare was possibly due in part to the horrors of the Gacy murders, as well as broader cultural fears of the time. This was the era of stranger danger and the satanic panic. And as with the clowns, we were often chasing phantoms. As the scholar Joseph Derwin put it in his essay on clowns, quote, "In times of duress and liminality, it is more than plausible that individuals and societies may often grasp a hold of universal, archetypal images and concepts. That in fact there is significant data to support this idea."
Certainly no laughing matter.
Are these clown scares an expression of our subconscious discomfort with the times?